introduce you to the Buzzy Rocket team. So Buzzy Rocket is a boutique marketing firm founded 12 years ago to help startups grow and scale their businesses. They do this with their decades of first-hand marketing experience, founding and growing multiple startups. To date, they have worked with over 100 startups. They're super unique as they only take on 6 clients at a time, and Debbie and Victoria work directly one-on-one with their clients along with their rockstar team. Their expertise includes branding like website design, naming, logo design, marketing strategy, and full execution like SEO, email marketing, social media, paid media, think Google ads, Facebook ads, Quora, Reddit, TikTok, and comprehensive marketing execution. They have such an incredible reputation, and we're really excited to have them here today. So a quick intro about Debbie and Victoria. Over the last 25 years, they've held marketing executive positions at startups, private and public companies. They're headquartered in Washington, D.C. and work with clients across the country. They're also passionate about travel, their rescue pets, craft beer, and their families. So without further ado, I would like to turn it over to the Buzzy Rocket team. And Debbie, yeah, we can just have you put it in slideshow and you're good to go. Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks for the intro. And we're super excited to be doing our second masterclass with you guys. So thank you very much. Those of you who know me and who know our sort of strategy as to how we go about, we don't do a whole ton of 10-minute intros. So as you know, we're here to talk about how to crush Q4 and get ready for Q1 2024. Let's get to it. So, all right, we're going to start by talking about Q4, and I always like to start with a poll question. So, Skylar, if you can pop up there, is it kind of like, oh my God, it's Q4, I can't even believe this? Well, yep, Monday morning when you wake up, you're going to be in Q4. Are you sort of like, we've been doing stuff, but don't really know? Let's see here. I'll just go ahead and say crap is at Q4. And Skylar, you let me know. Are the results
Yes, perfect. Yeah, results are coming in. Give me just about
I couldn't
another
recall
10 to
if I
15
got to see
seconds.
them.
Yes,
This is where I
we'll
feel like
show
I
them
should
for
always
you.
be singing the Jeopardy music.
No problem. We're still getting some results. So give me just 1 second and then I'll pop
Sure,
them
of
up for
course.
you. Just most that are coming in look right now in the sort of section, just a heads up.
Okay, well, I'm glad we aren't getting a 95% crap, it's Q4. And I'm sure there's at least a few of you that are crushing it.
Here you go. You should be able to see them now.
Oh, 20%. All right, I feel you. Like, I mean, I totally understand. Okay, great. Well, it sounds like based on this, our deck today is absolutely set to address this. Okay, let me just get this out of the way so I can click. There we go. Okay, so what we want to talk about first is what do you need to achieve in Q4, right? Let's make sure that it's measurable and it's something that's a need to do versus a nice to do. Make sure that, do you need, we don't want the goal to be, we need to grow. We need to, get revenue in the door. I want to hear we need to add 500 users. We need 100 people to download our app. We need each sales rep to bring in $1,000, whatever it may be, right? Goal oriented. What do you need to achieve? And as opposed to doing fancy graphics on this slide, I decided to throw memes in. So of course, what everyone would like is, yeah, just close that pipeline. And I'm clearly dating myself because when I showed this to Skylar the other day, I was like, haha, Office Space is so funny. And she was like, what, are you working in an office space? I am 54. Those of you that know Office Space, that's what this is from. But yes, we're all hoping everyone will close their pipeline. But if not, let's move on. Okay, so one of the first things you want to look at is what has worked in 2023. Something that people definitely can fall victim to is sort of the psychology of what should have worked, what we put all our effort into, and what we wish had worked. We really want to look measurably what drove your metrics, what drove deals in the door, what drove leads, meetings, whatever that may be. Equally as important, we want to look at what did not work. Again, let's not beat our head against the wall and keep doing more of the same if it's not driving results. One thing that I can guarantee you did not work is chasing shiny objects. And we clearly need to get that out of the way in Q4. The last thing you want to do is be like, oh, we don't even send emails out, but I heard about this really cool, like new AI tool. Nope, do not chase that. Put it on the back burner. Let's get moving. Okay, poll number 2. These are a little bit front loaded. Are you offering specials, deals, or discounts in Q4? I'm going to talk a lot about this today. So stop reading email or whatever else you're multitasking and pop into this real quick. Some people call it a marketing offer, but it's a special. You know, are you offering a free training class, 20% off, buy one, get one? Your B2B and your B2C ones will be different. So I'll sing my little music in my head for a sec. Wow,
Perfect. We still have some coming through. Give me just another
all
5 to 10
good.
seconds. We should be good to go.
Perfect. The hardest part when you're giving a presentation is to pause, right?
Yep, you gotta wait for those poll questions.
We are absolutely offering
All
something.
right, here we go.
Okay, high five to the 1/5 of you that are doing it. The I have no idea, no worries. Go find out if you are. If you aren't, we're gonna give you some tips. And then I will pop in the chat at some point, or Skylar, if you have it, you can, we'll throw it in a few times. A link to our Calendly. We are happy. We love what we do. We're huge marketing nerds. We're really good at it. But like Skylar said, we only take on, a handful of clients at a time, but we're happy. Schedule an hour with us. We can talk through what you're doing currently, what you should be doing, etc. So those of you that are not doing offers, I'm glad that I dove into this a little bit more. Q4 campaigns cannot stress enough, they need to highlight offers, right? Specials, deals, discounts. Why you and why now are the things that have to be sort of the table stakes. And why you, remember, you want to always be speaking about your unique value proposition, right? Why, what do you do? Who do you do it for? Why do you do it better than anyone else? And then why now? You cannot cry wolf. You cannot, every month say, this is the only time that you're going to be able to get this deal and then offer it again the next month. So why now has to be a truly compelling, time sensitive, it's like the FOMO, right? It's the fear of missing out. Like, oh my gosh, I better get this now. Okay. Now, the way the offer is represented in this, let me get my own face out of the way there. The way the offer is represented here is in the little bitty pink dots around the corner. If you think of the big pink circle where it says website/landing page, that's what we'll generally call the destination. So the pink dots refer to the exact same offer. The destination in the middle, really you want them to be going to a landing page. So for those of you that aren't familiar with that, a landing page, which is also sometimes called an island page because it sits on its own, does not have navigation. It does not tell you, oh, here's where you can find 800 other super interesting, well, that's my hand talker there, all these other super interesting things. What it does is it very crisply, succinctly, without a lot of distraction, tells you, what is that offer? Like, what am I getting? Again, we'll talk more about offers, but if you think about the customer experience life cycle, everything is omnichannel, right? Like you might see an ad for something. You might then, over to word of mouth, tell somebody about it. So you want this offer to be everywhere. You absolutely want it to be everywhere. Okay, there's only 4 polls, so we're almost done. But which of these are part of your Q4 marketing plan? And you can check all that apply. This one might take a sec. You can certainly have other things besides these. These are some of the core ones that we're going to be speaking about. I am going to say other. No, I'm not. I definitely have a plan. I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this.
And if you click other, feel free to put what your other choices in the chat, so just so the others know what your options are, kind of get some more out there for everyone. We still have quite a few responses coming in, so I'll give it just another minute
Sorry,
or so.
I couldn't see all of the chats earlier. Um, I am talking about both B2C and B2B. I'll differentiate for offers. I will differentiate as I go through. I would say our business is probably 90% B2B. We do have B2C clients and have done quite a few work there, but talking about both as we go through this, and feel free to pop other questions as you go in there. Oh, I bet these that 20% that has no plan. I totally get it. That's gonna go throughout. Okay, this is awesome. And the most exciting thing for me is that email, 53% are doing email. Email, we're going to talk about it again, is absolutely number one, the most successful ROI wise. It's people think email is not sexy, it's boring. You know what? It works. So super glad to see that. Now, for those of you that have no plan, this next one's for you. The good news is if you have no plan, no one can steal it. Okay, now we're going to dive right into top 20. So what I've done here is I've broken it into two sets of 10. The first set of 10 are slightly more broad, and the second set are a bit more tactical. Okay. Great. Have a plan. Can't say that enough. Don't be scared by the concept of a plan. This does not need to be some crazy document, a software tool you're using. And this difference between a marketing strategy and a marketing plan. Marketing strategy is going to be really, how am I going to market? What's my target market? Am I going to approach them in this way versus that way? The plan is much more the tactics, how you're going to go about all of this. Have a plan. Watch the competition. There's a lot of different reasons for doing this. You should always have your finger on the pulse of the competition. The last thing you want to do is put all your eggs in the basket of, oh, we're offering 9% off this. We do not always or often recommend that discounting is your number one go-to. But the last thing you want to do is say, oh, we're offering 9% and all your competitors are offering 11. Or you find out that you've scheduled a webinar on the same topic on the same day as your competition, etc. So watch what your competition's up to. Review your messaging. Again, I did speak about this earlier, but your messaging is everywhere, right? Is there a consistency in your messaging? Is your website have the same, not only like look and feel, but the words that you're using? It should be kind of like 80-20. 80% of your message, your elevator pitch, your sales scripts should be the same, and 20% should be there for, like, you know, the embellishment and which story or example you throw in based on what's going on. Your messaging can turn people on or off very quickly, so review your messaging. This might sound obvious, but be where your customers are. If you're working with a blue-collar construction group right now, for example, they're most likely not spending all of their time on Twitter and LinkedIn. So whether you're talking about digital or in the physical world, absolutely be where your customers are. If you're selling lipstick, if we're going to the B2C world, you know, you are much more likely to find your customers and your prospects on TikTok and Instagram than, you know, on Twitter, for example. Engage early and often. There definitely is a tendency to think like, I'm bothering people. Kind of, if we connect this back to email, people are like, well, I just emailed them 2 weeks ago. I don't want to bother them again. If you're providing value and you're not pestering people with sales and useless, just like spamming them, it's great, and they'll be happily, you know, they'll happily review your email or whatever that other engagement might be. But you have to get out there, get your face out there. Optimize your website both overall and for mobile. So a sort of longer term thing that is not a Q4 focus is SEO. And the reason I say that, SEO is very important. You can certainly have some holiday keyword optimization, etc. But SEO takes a while. SEO is not something that you just go, you know, click it and set it up once and it's done. So that's not going to have like, an imminent impact in Q4, but it is important to get done. But if you think, say you're a tech company, or you're a marketing company, and somebody goes to, we all know everyone's looking more likely on, on their phones than on their laptops. And if they go and you're a tech company and they're getting 404 errors, or if like the fields are misaligned, or there's any kind of an issue, it's a bad experience. And why would they trust their business to you if you can't even, keep it, again, particularly if your technology or design, for example. One that we just went through is a client who was like, we don't understand how come no one's signing up for our offer. And it turns out on mobile, 3/4 of the fields were off the screen. So people literally couldn't get their mouse in, or their finger tap in there to do it. Not good. Oops, let's get over to here. Okay, enable the sales team. Make sure your sales team knows what marketing is happening. Do not send out a huge campaign, whether it costs a dime or not, and have calls come in or emails come in and have the sales team not know what's going on, right? You can also, you can go as deep as giving them scripts for different things, make sure that they have the assets that they need to move forward with sales. Focus on customer success. Everyone always wants to focus on, yeah, we want our customers to, to be happy and to be successful, and we want, all this good stuff to be going on. But remember, it's 5 times more expensive to get a new client than to keep a client. So not only do you want to make sure you don't have customer churn, but this gives you the opportunity to also cross-sell, upsell. It'll allow you to collect case studies, quotes from these people. Super valuable. I'm not so good at this animated thing here. Okay, make data-driven decisions. Kind of like I said in the very beginning, you really want to focus not on how you feel about things, but what is actually working, not working. Look at everything from, if you want to kind of be super detailed and you're more mature, you can look at your return on ad spend. There's a very simple formula. We're happy to help you figure out how to work that out. How many people in email, for example, how many people are opening it? Are they clicking through? Are those converting to leads? Make your decisions. If you're going to move the needle, whether it on budget, effort, people, make sure you're doing it based on data, not, either throwing a dart or like what you hope is going to work. And based, wrapping that part of it up, be agile. Okay, so these are the sort of, as I said, the broader ones. We're going to jump into a teeny bit more tactical on this one. Okay, multi-channel campaigns. Think back to the big pink circle and everything going around it. In today's customer experience, what you want to really do is you want to attract, convert, and retain clients. And as you do that, there's so many touch points that they go across. So you want to make sure that your message is not your message, your offer, all of these efforts you're putting out. You want to make sure it's not only going to one channel, because if your clients, your targets are not in that channel, you're really just shouting into the wind. Okay, time-sensitive deals and discounts. Again, can't talk about this enough. As we think through different pieces of offers, you can have so many, but you don't want to complicate it. You don't want to have 12 offers. So you can certainly have an offer per month, an offer per quarter. You could have an offer for a specific target versus another, but you do not want to complicate. You want it to be the concept of an offer, and the landing page it goes to is you want to make this as simple as possible. Do not make them do the heavy lifting. Make them say, I'm interested. This is how I do it. Here's my money. Increase your spend. Do it wisely, even if your spend is $10. So most people think, okay, it's Q4, people have either spent all their money already, they've got no budget, everyone's going on vacation, there's holiday. Well, what this results in is there's a lot fewer people in the room. And when there's a lot fewer people in the room, your voice is a lot louder. So the $10 that you're going to spend now versus the $10 you're going to spend during a super busy time your return is going to be incredibly stronger. Okay, leverage email marketing and do this in many ways. Do not just send, so for example, let's take this, right? So like those of you who've been in our masterclass before have seen the emails that we put afterwards, right? So we don't just say, oh, here's a link, bye-bye. We send out, we don't ask for anything, right? So we're not saying, oh, click here and sign up for $5 million. We're actually just saying though, like, hey, here's a piece of value. Here's an incremental piece of value. We're developing a relationship. That's one thing you can do. That's more of a nurture campaign. You can also have different types of campaigns. So for example, if somebody does go and clicks, I want to sign a demo, I want to see a demo on your website, that can bring them down a different channel. And you can also do very simple things, like if people do not open email X that you send out, change the subject line and resend it only to those that have not opened it already. Great. Now, speaking about email as well as broadly, segmentation is critical. You don't want to think about your entire customer base in one giant lump. You want to think, okay, how can I break them into pieces? And as I break them into pieces, how do I ensure, for example, we have an amazing new client that does time tracking and compliance and this like incredibly amazing solution. So that could be used in the field by construction workers, or it could be used in many other areas. So we segment, and the language, the message, the images, everything that we use when we're speaking to and addressing the segment for construction is different. Now, something that goes with that is personalization. So this can go anything from, we've all received that email once that says like, dear first name, right? So that's what's happening there, is that, they didn't clean it correctly, but there's stats showing there's huge impact for people opening rates when you actually put personalization in there. So that's, again, kind of like the low level. There's much deeper personalization that we'll talk about when we get into 2024 trends shortly. Talked about landing pages. You can have multiple landing pages. They're wildly simple to create. There's AI tools that can create them for you in literally 5 minutes. You input a couple fields and you input your brand colors. If you need help learning any of that, please just give us a call. Ask for referrals. Let's hope that your clients, as we talked about customer success earlier, are so excited about the value that you're bringing them that they're spending, an hour a day thinking of anyone else that could benefit. Most likely that's not happening, and you don't get what you don't ask for. Ask for referrals. There's nothing embarrassing about it. We love what we do. We're so good at it, and we've been for 12 years. We've been 100% referral based. That being said, we are a very small company with a very different goal than yours might be. By the way, shout out to those who presented earlier today. Very compelling, excellent job. Love getting to see that. Okay, content. Everyone hears content is king, which sounds like scary, and content sounds just like a heck of a lot of work. Just to be clear, content is really just a broad term for any piece of information. It could be a video, it could be a white paper, it could be an ebook, it could be lots of different things. So you want to create it, and you want it to have keywords, and you want it to, there's different value points you can get, but you can also repurpose content. Nobody is going back and sanity checking that if 2 years ago you wrote a blog post about the same thing. So look at what worked, back to what worked the best last year. Also looked out of all of your content. What's been your top performing content? Then look at it, refresh it, update it, and put it out there again. It's value that you're putting out into the universe. It's all good. Great. Host webinars, panels, masterclasses, whatever it is, but get out there. It's, again, be out there early, often, talk about it. Make sure that you have proof points, credibility points. So customer quotes and success stories, a success story does not need to be a case study. You can take, I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've watched people struggling through months of trying to put together a case study. A success story can be anything from, if we look at B2B and B2C, right? It can be like, I wore this awesome new lipstick and, my headshots came out great, Debbie. Or it can be, hey, I'm a business. I had this challenge. I got this solution from the company, and this is the amazing impact it had. Here's a quick quote about it. This will basically overcome a lot of objections before they happen. So it helps really pull the sales cycle forward. Okay. Now, remember, Q4, we absolutely want to implement these tactics. Not every single one of them all at once. It can be overwhelming, but those of you that have no plan and want to kind of talk through which are the top few of these we should do, pick a few and you can excel at it. Q4 also needs to include planning to blow out Q1 profitability. Now, one thing we hear a lot of is like, okay, well, that's awesome, but we have no money. We're here in this group pitching because we want investors, or we have a teeny tiny bit of money and we want to just hold on. And okay, it doesn't have to be expensive. The vast majority of what we've talked about so far today can be done for free. It can be done, it's going to take some time and it's going to take some effort. If you choose to, you can outsource little pieces of it or spend some money on ad spend or whatever it may be. But it is not a big money budget issue. So that is no excuse. So here we go. Are you ready for Q4? Back to the nap. Many of us might need a nap. I know I do, just dealing with Q4, but I am invigorated and ready, and you guys are hopefully also. You recognize these from before, right? Like, okay, we're doing some stuff, and I guess we'll just keep doing it. Or, oh yeah, we're totally going to crush it. We're going to hit our number in Q1.
Okay,
Let me throw an answer. Oh, okay, I don't need to.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's
There we
fine.
go. Here's the results.
Again, totally feel the nappers. Okay, it's awesome for that you guys have plans. And those of you that are doing some things, that's great. You can keep doing them and then start applying some of these things. So awesome. Glad to hear that. So what we're going to jump into, and I'm actually almost done. We're going to talk about Q4, and then we've left a fair amount of time for QA. Okay, what we don't want to see is new year, new me, right? Like you're going to wake up and you're like, I'm going to lose 22 pounds by the end of January, and I'm going to only eat lettuce, and I'm going to exercise 4 times a day. Let's just choose something that, choose a strategy and create a plan that's executable, that you can calmly but energetically work on and succeed. Okay. So we're going to talk about 2024 predictions. We're just going through 5. There's a lot of them. These are some that, and although we're talking about predictions, this is not, these are not a set of crystal ball predictions. These are really rather ones that have been exceptionally successful and building momentum over the past year, or some even longer than that, and are definitely going to be big in 2024. Okay, so we're going to go over 5. First, we're going to talk hyper-personalization and AI. And I'm not speaking necessarily, AI is certainly going to be big everywhere. You can pop to the CONNECTpreneur site and see our masterclass. The last one was about generative AI. Here we're specifically talking, so let me just share, hyper-personalization is really not the personalization of hi, first name. It's not even hi, person in this segment. This is hi, Skylar. We know that you you like this particular thing as an individual. We have data about you. This is the stuff people get all creeped out about, but it's out there and it works. So in the hyper personalization space, we're going to see that more and more and more, partly because the AI tools, many of which again are no cost, make it so much easier to implement. Sustainability and ethical marketing. Believe it or not, over 50% of B2B buyers are millennials. Millennials, as well as many, many other people. I am certainly not a millennial, but I'm very compelled and I'm willing to pay more for companies that are focused on sustainability and those that do ethical marketing. So I'm going to break these a little bit. Sustainability is really just what it sounds like, right? Do they, and this is a broad, I don't know, list. You don't have to do all of these certainly, but do you offset your carbon footprint? Do you use eco-friendly solutions? If you have a fleet, are you using electric cars? There's all kinds of things around sustainability. It used to be a little earthy, crunchy. We kept it inside. And this is now something that you should be shouting from the rooftops. You should be marketing the fact that you do this. And on the ethical marketing, we do not, in today's day and age, have any tolerance for the BS, like bait and switch kind of marketing. Whether you're B2B or B2C, you need to be transparent. You need to be honest. We don't want, the days of the cheesy sales and marketing are over. It's not going to drive numbers, and that's what it's all about. All right, so conversational marketing and chatbots. You would think this would be a more complicated definition, but it's not, right? Conversational marketing is literally having two-way interaction conversations with your clients in a way other than, like a phone call or verbal in general. So this could be, I'll tell you a chatbot in a minute, but this could be as simple as if somebody's posting on social, hey, I tried your product and it was awesome. Or we implemented your solution and saved a lot of money. Great. Get back on there and reply to them and engage with them in a conversation. People today, if you're B2B, you still act as if you're B2C. The psychology in buyers today, people are so used to having a certain experience as a consumer, they expect a certain similar experience in B2B, right? You can no longer get back to someone 4 days later. There's a lots of different things about that. And if I go to the chatbots, this is interesting because AI in chatbots, which I'm going to talk about again, but the AIs in chatbots can allow you to, for example, go through all of your help desk, query all of your help desk, look at your manuals. If you're what am I saying? Like an appliance manufacturer or something, for example, it can then pull and create all kinds of Q&A from that. Then your chatbot can actually get answers from there, and it's a much more conversational, valuable, less frustrating interaction. So those are just a couple examples of how conversational marketing is going to get out there. Last one, I think this is the last one. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that TikTok, Instagram Reels, short form video is there. This is also sort of, part of a way to have a conversation, but on short form video, one of the huge wins is people are visual. They can absorb information from graphics better than text, and from video better. It incrementally goes better. It's short, the attention span's there, and the opportunity to amplify. No, you're not all going to go viral, right? Everyone's like, I'm going to go viral. Everyone's going to know about me. No, but the opportunity to share that and amplify, huge. So that is definitely super important. Okay, I was wrong. That wasn't the last. There's one more. Local SEO and micro moments. So we talked about how search engine optimization definitely is a longer tail, but local is becoming much, much more critical. So as opposed to just, I want people to find me because I'm a technology company. Now I might say, I want people to find me because I offer training classes in person in these 9 locations. Think of it on the B2C side, maybe this is when you're driving and you're like, or in a new city and you're like, oh, where's a pizza place near me, right? So this is local. Now, this also takes you down, not necessarily only with local, but it takes you to micro moments. Going back to Skylar's lunchtime shoe shopping habits, mind you, I don't even know if Skylar likes shoes, but I'm picking on you. Micro moments, if you go back to that, Sorry, I'm looking at the chat there. If you go back to that customer experience life cycle, it's no longer like, I'm going to have step A, step B, step C, and buy something. A micro moment is like a particular time when she's like, wow, I saw those shoes yesterday. Or actually, let me give you a different example. I'll go to that one after. Say you're talking to somebody and you're talking to a CFO and he's like, oh, that's interesting. Let me check that out. The micro moment, it's almost always, there's my daughter. It's almost always through a device and it's almost always a cell phone. In that micro moment, there's an opportunity to have a customer touch point, a prospect touch point, in which they are highly, highly, highly likely to be searching for a specific answer. Sometimes it's just information, or have a specific need that they have a much higher intent to act on and purchase. So you want to ensure that you have these micro moments built into your experience. Aha, questions. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, great. I'm actually gonna, let me just stop share that so I can look at you guys.
Thanks, Debbie.
Yeah, absolutely. I tried to keep it short because if people can either get a little time back in their day, or last time I know we had a pretty long Q&A session. Okay.
No problem. Okay, so the first question that we have is how do you have micro moments for a B2B consulting business?
So that is a combination of can you tell me, is there a particular type or just kind of a business consulting, I guess we're talking about? In this case, you really want, sorry, I'm just watching the chat over there. You really want to ensure that, I'll go back to different pieces. So if you think about content, we want to make sure that those pieces of content that add value, business growth. Okay, great. Thank you for putting that in there. So if somebody is going to be looking for, is that you, girl in the purples and the teal shirt smiling at me?
Yes. Hi.
Hi there.
Thanks for taking my question.
Yeah, of course. There's so many ways to do this, but if you really, you need to be in the room to be seen in order to take advantage of it. So if somebody is picking up their phone and looking for something, for example, if you have content out there that people can search and find, if you're doing paid ads that when they put it in, so to clarify, a paid ad is most often or very often a pay-per-click, which might be something like a Google ad. And I know I'm mixing different things in here, so I can go offline and do this more deeply. Those are ads in which you only pay if the person says, oh, like, I really need to grow my business next year, right? They search, it comes up, they click on it. You don't pay a dime for that unless they click on it. So you're there, you can have that little micro moment with them, or they find content. There's really a big range. I will follow up with you with some content about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Thanks, Debbie. Okay, our next question says, how do we apply all of this for sales of industrial products, sales to utilities, manufacturing, mining, etc.? Our sales have generally been very technical with customers coming to us. How do we branch out to find other similar customers who might need our product?
Okay, well, I think here I definitely would think about what type segment, and again, these are somewhat broad because I don't know the details of your business, but what type, you have utilities, manufacturing, mining, for example. Have you segmented those so you have different messages or, a tweaked version of your message to each of those separately? And are you reaching out? So although this sounds very simple, are you emailing them? Where do those people connect? Do they have, I'm just looking back through all the data here. How do we branch out and similar customers who might need our products? Where do they hang out? Are there 2 conferences a year that they go to and that's where everybody is? Are you really all of those apply, but are you going to the right buyer and ensuring that that right buyer in the right industry is aligned? And I know some of these are not necessarily branching out into new ones, but as you implement all of those other different tactics, it's not wildly different based on industry, based on vertical. That's a little bit hard to answer in one quick one, but I can definitely follow up with you and give you some ideas on that. And I would love to do that.
Thank you. Thanks.
Sure. Debbie, I had another question messaged me saying, you talked a lot about offers. What makes an offer compelling?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people think like, ugh, I see ads and offers all day long. So like, why should I even do that? Well, there are actually a few key elements. Number one is you have to be offering it. This isn't one of the key elements, but you need to be offering it to the right person. If I'm offering every single person on this call a free manicure, like there's no point to that. Like that is not going to be successful. Well, maybe for a few of you, but I can't give a manicure, but you know what I mean? So the key elements, it needs to be clear. It needs to be really transparent, right? Like what specifically is this? People have a psychology that they're inherently going to look, what's the catch? What's the trick? So this just needs to be extremely clear. There needs to be the bonus or the value, which needs to have like some kind of a real ROI on it. It can't just be, so it can't just be, oh, here's 5% off just because it's 5% off. Like it needs to be something important. The sense of urgency, people do have that fear of missing out going on. If you put the proof points in there, it helps. And something that most people don't necessarily put in there, but it's called, in the marketing world, it's called risk reversal. People inherently think like, well, if I do this, then, I don't know. If you put in there, for example, if it's a free trial, go ahead and put in your offer, no credit card required. It immediately takes the risk out of the psychology. They're much more likely to do that. You can put in there, lots of different things to accomplish that. And then also put a proof point, put one of those credibility points on there. And remember, this has to be a trade-off of the perceived value versus the perceived cost. So say you're going to give them something for free. You cannot make them fill out a 25 field form. You want this offer to be like, send me your email address and get this free thing or whatever it may be. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. Our next question says, how do we address the, oh, sorry. Can you see it?
No,
How do we address
I'm
the
reading.
problem
Sorry
of
about that.
people-
I do appreciate
Okay.
you reading.
How do we address the problem of people avoiding answering calls as part of campaign strategy? Is texting more successful?
That's a super interesting one. I'm glad you asked that, Victor. A lot of people are scared to death to send a text. SMS campaigns are, even if it's not a campaign, it can just be an individual text, are like hugely more successful than phone calls. So absolutely send that text. You do not want to be sending spammy texts, but Victor, say I've sent you an email, I left you a voicemail, I haven't heard. I can certainly just shoot you a text and say like, hey, left your message. If you want to connect, please let me know. If not, please let me know. It can say, it can be a broader campaign where it's sending a text that says, hey, here's this offer we have. There's lots of ways to play that, but SMS, big high five. It's a huge win. There's lots of other ways you can do that, but yes to texting.
Okay, perfect.
There's also, just so you guys know, if you're using tools like MailChimp, or there's tons of other different things that integrate to do SMS as part of your campaigns. And again, this goes back to the multi-channel. Don't only call or only email or only text. You don't want to hit them with, you need to make sure that the timing and the cadence and that, they're in order and all of that. But yes, definitely. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Next question is, how do I really know what is working so far in 2023 and what is not? Okay,
well, this, good question, because I did kind of preach a bit about don't just use your emotions about it. You really do want to be as measurable as possible. I would hope that most of you have Google Analytics on your website. If you don't, it's free, easy to set up. It's not complicated to use. So some of the things you can look at, KPIs, and again, you can have a very, very simple 5-bullet email or spreadsheet that you look at like once a week. Look at the traffic to your website. Look at what pages they're staying on. Look at how long they're staying on the different pages. You can then use that to figure out what is or isn't working, do more of what is, pull out what's not. In email, as I said, you can look at your open rates, your click-through rates. As far as tying actual sales conversion, that's super hard in today's day and age. There's different ways in the marketing and sales world that we call attribution. So if somebody has a single point, they get one single email and that's all they ever do, and then they buy something, that's nice and simple. That doesn't happen very, very often. So although conversion rates are super important, it's really hard to tell exactly where they're attributed to, because if a deal comes in through your website or through social, you don't necessarily know what their first touch point was. Anyway, you can look at your customer acquisition cost. Maybe you're getting more customers in one particular area, but it's costing 50 times another area. So if you move the levers and reallocate some of the budget, your customer acquisition costs could then go way down. Social media engagement. It doesn't matter if 80,000 bots or even 80,000 people like your post. Is anyone actually engaging with you on social? Pay attention to these different things, check out, and use data-driven decisions. If you want a simple scorecard, how to do some of this, shoot me an email. I'll send you one. You can text me if you want. Victor, I think that was you. Hopefully that answers that question.
Yes, for sure. Our next question says, I will be launching a few remote classes and plan to give discounts for the first time enrollees. What is the best way to market what I am doing on social media?
Okay. First of all, great offer. Discount for first time enrollees. I'm curious if you can tell me if this, the class offerings are new overall, or if they're just new, the reason I ask this is I'm curious, it came up for new enrollees, which is super. I'm curious if you also have an offer or plan to have an offer in Q1 maybe for those who register for more than one class, et cetera. But specifically on social media, if it's technology classes or something like that, I would absolutely be focusing on LinkedIn and Twitter. But like on LinkedIn, I would say like give some sneak peeks of what's out there, what you're going to learn in the class. Don't just say like, hey, here's 20% off a class. Say, you'll get, register or download, because what you want to do is capture their information. So, you just want to get them to engage out there by offering something of value other than just the deal. So you certainly can put a little bit of money into some ads there. You can write some content or blog posts as to, and again, when I know you said social, but social, if you're not using social to link to your content and to your landing pages and other things, that's a miss. So you could put things out there that were like, the top 5 things you're going to learn in this class, or, top 10 tips, whatever it may be, link them to other places.
Okay, perfect. The next question that we have says, should I send out holiday cards?
There are mixed feelings about that. Back to shouting into the wind. It's certainly nice to get a holiday card. Most likely you are going to spend money and postage on a card. Again, this could either be a hard card, or even if you're doing it digitally and there's no spend involved, it's a very nice thing to do, but it's very easy to get lost in the noise. What's better to do, or incrementally add to that plan, is to send a Thanksgiving card. Send a card for example, we send out to our clients, there's a fabulous we send different things for them, but one of them is there's one called Karma Caramels that you can do custom little wrappers on them. They're inexpensive. We send that for Valentine's Day. It's a huge, people are like, oh my gosh, Valentine's Day, no one sends us this. Doing it at New Year's gets you kicking. So certainly you can send out holiday cards. They can get lost in the noise.
Okay. Next question that we have is, what are the top 3 things of everything that you shared that will have the most impact in your opinion?
Yeah, I know that a list of 20 can feel a little bit overwhelming. Totally get that. This is going to be slightly different for everybody, so I guess I'll keep it relatively broad. Targeted segmentation, right? Make sure you're going after the right target market, and then make sure that you're segmenting and using all of that. A little aside, unrelated to the top 3, some people have asked in the past, and we talk to people about what's called ABM, which is account-based marketing. If you have high-value accounts or high-value prospects that are high in your forecast, please target them, put energy into them, focus on specific plans for those deals. Again, only relevant for certain ones, but if going to kind of like the top 3, so let's segment, let's use offers with a compelling call to action, right? Don't put on there like, contact us. Like no one, that's like the most boring thing you can put. There are certainly times when contact us makes sense, but for an offer, you want to have something more like save now, or, I'm in, or things like that, a little bit more creative. Okay, so segmentation, with offers, going to landing pages. I'm kind of cramming a bunch in one bullet there. Email, and include credibility, include links to content, change your subject lines and resend to those that aren't opening. And then I think last, I would say if you do have a small amount of budget, do some of that pay-per-click advertising. Again, that spend goes much farther now. And then on the longer tail, more getting ready for Q1 and 2024, go ahead and pay some attention to your SEO, your keywords, etc. And going into Q1 2024, think not only about the content and the remarketing, but also targeting and retargeting and remarketing to those that have engaged and or purchased. Let's see, I do not send Christmas cards, but an end of year thank you for your patronage card and looking forward to the coming year. They're absolutely, if you're sending something that is genuine, particularly if it's somebody to a client, that's a great call out. I really appreciate you putting that in there. That is wildly valuable. It's appreciated. It matters. I'm speaking a bit more on the don't get stuck in the noise ones, on ones that are just kind of like, the generic printed, and then some admin sits there and just scribbles their name on all of them. So that was a good point. Okay, hopefully I answered your top 3. And I know we're getting pretty close, so I'm not sure.
Yes, no problem. Yeah, I think we're close to the ending time anyway, but if anyone had any other questions, I'm sure Debbie would be happy to stay on for a few minutes and answer those. But otherwise, I think we can end the class here. And Debbie, if we can let me see. Oh yeah, someone's wondering if there'll be a recording available. There will be a recording available, so we'll make sure to get that to everyone. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And can you, Skylar, can I trouble you to pop that link in there again?
Just did, yep.
Yeah, and being very transparent, we're not looking for new clients right now. We're not like, oh my gosh, call us because we want to put you in our big funnel. We love what we do. We love helping. And we truly believe that startups and entrepreneurs are going to change the world. And anyone that we can be, if we can be incrementally helpful this much, like that's what we want to do. So thank you for joining.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. So we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.